Welcome to What the Washington, a historical, social, and political tour of the weirdest state in the nation. I'm Michaela.
I'm Matt.
And we're back after an impromptu hiatus, which is because we're getting married in approximately 1 month. And so we haven't really had time to research things like we were.
Yep.
So we're actually coming with like a one-off episode.
A little appetizer.
Yeah, and then we'll get back to regular scheduled programming in the fall after October, maybe November as like a tentative return date.
Yep.
We'll keep it season 2 because I think we only had like 5 episodes.
Yeah, we kind of cut halfway through. So we're going to probably just keep going. And this is going to go into season 2. This is like Michaela said, it's a hiatus, impromptu hiatus for us.
We had 7 episodes before we went on our little break.
Yeah.
Did I do that math right? Hold on. Yeah, 7 episodes before we went on break. So, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll keep it season 2. And this will be in season 2 as well. And then we'll finish season 2 and then go back to it regularly as scheduled.
Okay, cool. So we actually came up with this idea because of something we went to. So we went to recently, and it is currently the last day of August, almost.
Yeah, time of recording.
Was it? I think it was the beginning of this month.
Beginning of August.
Yeah.
It feels like this month has been a very long month.
Yeah. So, anyway, all this to say that we went to the Renaissance Fair. We went to the Washington Midsummer Renaissance Faire.
Yes, we did.
And so we're going to talk about, I have a little bit of the history of the fair, and we can talk about it. And then we can also talk about our experience going and maybe a little bit of event review.
Yeah. I think that would be really cool to kind of just give a summary of our experiences, because it was, I thought it was a really cool trip.
Yeah, it was fun, and it's not too much of a drive for us personally, especially because it's in Snohomish, the city, Washington, which isn't too far. I feel like
it was just outside of Monroe.
Just outside Monroe, and yeah. I feel like going east, right? It's east?
Yeah, we were going east.
Going east is a little bit of an easier drive in terms of traffic to get to than if we were driving to Seattle in pure south. So anyway, I think it's relatively close. It's on the I-5 corridor. It's pretty accessible to a lot of people in Western Washington. So if you're interested in learning more about it and then potentially going next year, we got all of that for you, what you need to know.
Yep.
Okay, so there were 5 weekends of the Midsummer Festival, and they are each themed. We went on the 3rd weekend, which is the Fête des Masques.
Yeah.
AKA the, Festival of Masks. We did not go on theme. I did have masks, and I forgot them.
I totally blanked.
In our house.
In our defense, there weren't many people with masks on, so.
No, it was not super themed. So if you're looking at the calendar and you're trying to decide on themes and you're like, oh no, I don't have anything pirate related, or I don't want to dress like a pirate, you'll be okay.
Yeah, you could just go.
Yeah, I wouldn't you could wear street clothes. I will say, I think it was probably 98% of people were in some sort of themed costume.
Yeah.
So if you are wearing jeans and a t-shirt, you will not quite fit in. I don't think you're going to stick out too bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not going to stick out, but you're not also, just most people wore just a shirt that was like Renaissance themed, and then maybe like something that was like an accessory. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like if I walked in there with my jeans on, I would have looked completely out of place. But it's still, you wouldn't look exactly like everyone else either, though. You weren't gonna get side eye. Let's just say
no. Everyone who works there is on theme. Anyway, I'm just gonna.
The bit was real for everywhere we went.
Yeah, so some of these other themes for weekends was the first weekend was Mystic Meadows, which is about nature and fantasy coming alive. So that's like fairies.
The Fae.
Yeah, the Fae, woodland creatures, that sort of thing. Cottage core charm is how they describe it.
In Lord of the Rings, ints.
Flower crowns, that sort of thing. Yeah. These change each year as well. There are like similar themes that have carried over through the years, but this is just an example of some of the themed weekends that they have. They also had Legend of the High Seas, which is pirates.
Oof, I wish, like, sometimes I kind of wish we went to that one, but I don't know if they would have changed the venue too much from what we saw, so.
And then the fourth weekend, they had Saga of Steel and Storm, and that's like knights, Vikings, metal armor,
which is always funny to me. I know it's fantasy, but knights and Vikings were like very much in a different historical time period from one another.
Well, yeah. I mean, in this specifically, they say warriors, Vikings, and barbarians.
Yeah,
so it is more for like a theme of the North.
Yeah.
So, and then last was Infinite Realms, which is the sci-fi weekend. And so photos advertising this, they have people dressed as like stormtroopers and with lightsabers. So each weekend is 2 days, and then on Friday they also have a pre-party, which is 21 plus, and I believe Saturday night they have an all ages party. Let me pull up their website. So I think I'm just going to give you a brief timeline of the history of the Merriwick Renaissance Fair.
Yeah, please inform me, because I don't even know it.
Yeah, so in 2010 is when the fair was first started.
Okay.
And that was in Maris Farms in Buckley, Washington.
I don't even know where Buckley is.
It is just east of Bonnie Lake.
Oh, okay.
So southwest.
Southwest.
But on the east side of Southwest, yeah. In 2012, it moved to Bonnie Lake, and that's when it officially the village became known as Merriwick. And they established their queen, so it's Queen Elizabeth I rules Merriwick.
Whoa. Like the sovereign monarch Elizabeth?
Who's to say? Probably.
The Virgin Queen, Virginia. Virginia.
And then in 2023 is when they moved to their current venue, which is in Snohomish at Sky Meadows. It's a bigger venue than their previous one. And let me tell you, this thing sells out. It is crowded. It's not like too crowded. Like, it's definitely manageable. It feels good.
Right.
In terms of, like, I don't feel crowded in.
Right. Yeah.
But it is full of people.
That was one thing that I noticed when we were there, was that the crowd management was really good. The, like, flow and control of traffic was really good, both in the park and in the parking lot as well. I think that crowd control actually makes it a way easier place to go to, because it's also, I think the benefit is, unlike a con or something, it's outside.
Yeah.
And I think the outside component makes it a lot less agoraphobic.
I think so. And it's also a very big venue
it's
that
huge.
They keep
They don't even use the whole field.
No.
Which is really impressive.
And the way they have it set up so that it circles back on itself makes it feel even bigger.
Right. And then also when Michaela was talking about like people being there like beforehand, like party, the people who are there, like camping there, they're in a separate part of the setup too. So it's not like they can just like instantly access it. They have to go through the same process that everyone else does. And it makes it feel a lot. You're right. I think that it is actually, if you do have anxiety about that kind of stuff, I think that this might be a good starting venue for you. Because of how well it was run. I didn't have any complaints. I didn't feel like I was like pinned in with like a lot of people. Even when there were moments where we were with a lot of people, it felt, it was helpful. It was outside and so big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, the last thing on my timeline is 2024 when it expanded to 5 weekends. So just last year's when it expands.
So just big timed it.
Yeah. And they're constantly selling out of their weekends. So it's a very popular event.
When we were there, I've been to Renaissance fairs in other places. When I lived in Arizona, we went to the Renaissance Fair like almost every year we lived there. And this was a better run Renaissance Fair than that one was. Even though that one was a bigger Renaissance Fair, I think. It might be childhood shrouding my memory, but I think that this was a really well run, large event. And all the vendors that we met, very pleasant. All the people we met were very pleasant. All the staff we met were very pleasant. So they did do a great job. And I could see why they can expand to 5 weeks, because it's filled. It is filled with people for sure.
Yeah, and those weekends that they expand, the first weekend is July 19th, and then the last weekend is August 17th. So obviously you will not be able to go this year, but that's fine. I think you should take the year to plan it out, get your outfit, figure out what you want to do, figure out if it's worth the cost for you. I think it's a good event to go to at least once if you're interested in going to a Ren Fair at all. It's fun to dress up. I had a good time dressing up. I thought I looked the cutest I'd ever been. So I am trying to let me find this.
Only one bone to pick, and it's not with this particular venue. It's just the title of Renaissance Fair. I'm always like, but the Renaissance is in the 1400s and the 1500s, and we're doing night stuff. And this is just me being a pedant, but it was actually really fun to see like actual knights doing competition and all the events and things like that. I think that if you're into that kind of stuff, you will love it.
So I was checking the price. The price this year was $39 per adult. And then those are also scaled. So senior tickets are less. Child tickets are less. But if you're over 13 or 13 or over, you're considered an adult for this fair. And then I believe it's children under 2 are free.
Yeah, a friend of mine we met in the line with their relatively new toddler. So, yeah, it's a great outing with the family, I think.
I will also say, in terms of like how to prepare yourself, is to make sure you have sunscreen.
Yep.
They do have medical tents inside with sunscreen, and a lot of the vendors also have some sunscreen for you to take. We went on a weekend that was fairly overcast. It did get kind of hot and sunny near the end,
especially at the end
the day. But overall it was really pleasant. But if you're there on a hot day, you will definitely need to find shade. You'll need to find something to drink and like chill out for a little bit.
Bring an empty water bottle to fill up. They will let you bring in a water bottle as long as you don't have it filled up. They do have filling stations at the beginning of the concourse. So if you're thinking, well, do I bring a water bottle or how much do I bring? Bring the biggest water bottle you can, empty, and then fill it up on the other side because you'll need it. And it's probably better to not have to refill every couple of minutes.
And then I'm going to read out the list of things they advertise as their entertainment and attractions. And then I think we'll go through our experience at the fair and what we did personally and how we felt about those things, if they're worth it. I will say, if you're going here, prepare to spend money. Everything is expensive. It's like going to Disneyland. You're a captive audience. It is priced. It is priced like you are a captive audience. So
and bring cash.
Yeah,
bring some cash with you.
Cash.
Yeah,
and just prepare to spend minimum, I would say, $100, unless you're like really stingy and like you have good budget control, and you're like, no, I'm only gonna buy, you know,
a little trinket here, a
one
thing here. Yeah.
Just for food and drinks,
It was,
I think we spent $100.
yeah, and it was steep because you're there
us.
the whole time. You're there, like, there's no way to, like, you know,
Yeah.
get anything else. So.
And then in terms of vendors, most are small artist and handmade goods, which means most of the things are also pretty expensive.
Pretty steep.
So if you are a person who doesn't want to plan to get a costume ahead of time, but you are hoping to get one there, it will be expensive. It will be a couple $100 to get a full outfit minimum. Mm-hmm.
Another thing about costumes explicitly is wear something that's breathable.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going to buy something there, look for something breathable. And if you're buying something for yourself before you go, get something that's made out of cotton, preferably.
Or linen.
Mm-hmm. Something that can breathe, because even if it's not hot all day, it will get hot just because you're walking all day and you're sweating all day. So heads up.
I will also say, if you are a woman and you're interested in wearing a corset, it was actually pretty comfortable. I did not have an issue with it. Your mileage may vary, but I did not have any issues with wearing it all day. And I just bought one from online for pretty cheap, and it had boning in it. They also, like, you can find ones that are not boned if you think that will be more comfortable for you. Okay, so the entertainment that they have and they offer, they do have 7 different stages with rotating performers. A lot of these performers do multiple sets per stage, so it's like every hour on the hour there will be a new act to be on stage. They also have wandering bards and minstrels, who basically like street performers and actors. So if you've ever, again, I'm going to make a comparison to Disneyland. These would be like the princesses that you run into. They're like on-themed people who are adding to the environment of the Renaissance Fair. Some of them are like fairies. Some of them, I think one of the things that we saw was monks who were picking up trash.
Yeah, everybody who was a collector of waste was dressed in a friar's robe.
Part of the requirements of working at the fair is that you have to be on theme, and it has to fit in to what your task is for the Renaissance Fair. So for that example, they will not have people dressed like princesses to pick up the trash, or dress like noblemen to pick up the trash.
That's a job for the peasants.
Yeah, it's a requirement if you're a vendor, if you work for the fair or volunteer for the fair yourself, which you can volunteer, and if you're interested in doing that, I believe it comes with a free entry. I would have to double check that. Maybe I'll double check right now. I don't know.
I will say one thing that I did love was, and I won't spoil it, but a certain performer showing up to one of the restaurants, and I'm not going to say what it is right now because it's early, but I did think that was super cool.
Okay, yes. So if you do volunteer, then you get access to the fair Friday and Saturday evening events, and you can camp on site for the weekend. So that might be something worth looking into. They do have applications, and from what I understand, those spots fill up pretty fast. So if you are interested in doing that, I would look into it sooner rather than later.
Right.
Plus, you get to be a part of it. I think that's a fun thing. I would consider doing that myself. It seems like a fun way to see the back end of things. I'm really interested in the back end of things and how that would work for something this large, and also with a theme like this where every single person in the grounds and associated with the fair, whether they're a vendor or, an average person who's working for the fair, they all have to be an actor of some kind, which I think is fun. Like, everybody's in costume and in person, or in character,
right?
Which I think would be a cool process to see. So anyway, that's something I'm personally interested in volunteering for. I don't think I will do that next year. Maybe the year after. I would have to plan for it, but it might be worth it. And then they also have the nightclub, which I mentioned. So Friday evening, the day before the fair starts, is a 21 plus event. It's basically like a nightclub. I realized that I said it's called nightclub, but it's nightclub with a K.
Everybody in the club, in E club, getting tipsy.
Uh-huh. And then they have an all ages one on Saturday. And then for their attractions, they have immersive period and fantasy environments, which were really fun to see. So basically small sets, it's like not quite stages, but set design that would be on theme and immersive. So one thing that we did, for example, was like a giant cooking pot that you could stand in for a photo op, and they would come and like pretend to stir the stew they are making you in. They have historical demonstrations, hands-on activities for all ages, pub crawls, which you do have to pay for, tea party with the Princess Cecilia, which you also have to pay for, and then they also have a knighting ceremony, which I think you have to pay extra for.
Yeah, I would assume.
This is definitely a pay-to-play event.
I mean, that's just all Renaissance.
It's how it's good. It's like the nature of it. You gotta pay to enter, and then you gotta pay for all the extras. It's just something you gotta budget for if you're wanting to like make the most of this.
Right.
I definitely think you could do things where you're not spending a lot of money, but you aren't going to participate in.
There's a lot of
like the activities that there are there.
There's a lot of live stuff, which is nice, so you don't have to feel like you're paying like a ton all the time. But the trade-off is if you don't pay for anything or don't buy anything from like the stands or something, you're just kind of walking through and perusing. It's just an overglorified mall walkthrough at that rate.
Is it shopping and then the stages?
Right, the stages. If
you are planning to like watch every performer that you are able to,
right,
you could spend the whole day there.
Right, yeah.
And see a lot.
You could probably get some
money.
Food and watch it, and you probably break like $150 if you did it all day. But it depends on the person, and it depends on what you're doing when you're there, for sure.
You can also re-enter, so if you're not wanting to buy food, you could keep food in your car.
Right, you could have gotten something before you got there if you wanted to.
So I guess we're sort of at the point where we're going to go through our day and talk about our experience. We just wanted to give you a brief history lesson on the fair, not going super in depth with things. Again, we do not have time to research all the goofs and gaffes of the history of this right now. If you want a more in-depth episode about the history of the Renaissance Fair, and maybe we could reach out to somebody so they could talk to us about the Renaissance Fair, let us know. Otherwise, this is mostly going to be an event review and our experience.
Yeah, and we might end up, if there's any interest, we can get that conversation and maybe put it up and then repost both of these episodes right before the Renaissance Fair starts, so people can get some information about it if they want to go. Because to me, I'm a just normal, boring kind of guy, so it's kind of nice to hear what is there before you go.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so we're gonna start. We started our day. We ended up getting there before the doors actually opened.
Yeah.
So we weren't in line for very long.
No.
So when you enter, you are driving into Sky Meadows, which is a giant field. And you're going to drive your car down the hill.
It's a big hill, too.
Into the meadow.
Uh-huh.
And then you're going to park. And the parking lot looks like any fair parking lot, dirt, lines of cars. It's very well run and organized.
They really know what they're doing with it.
Yeah, they know how to direct you, and it's not complicated at all. It was very smooth. I really enjoyed it. We were not the first people there. Obviously, there are people who camp overnight, and then there are the really early, we were not trying to get there when gates opened. It sort of just ended up being that way.
Yeah, and for us, it's mostly because of the distance we're traveling to King County area, Snohomish County area.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what traffic's going to be, so you leave accordingly. In that case, we ended up there a little bit earlier than we anticipated.
Yes. And we were also meeting some friends who drove up from Portland to come.
Right.
So anyway, we got there. We were in line for not very long. It was not a very long line. They do have sort of this entry area. I feel like I can only explain this in Disneyland comparisons for people who have been to Disneyland. You have a holding area that they let a large crowd of people through. You do pass through a bag check security.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there were any. Were there metal detectors?
There were no metal detectors.
Okay.
That I saw, but I did see Snohomish County Sheriff's Department, which did make me think that they probably have some available if they really need to. Yeah. But I feel like with all the people doing medieval armor and stuff, it'd probably be pretty annoying for them to do all metal checks for it.
Right.
But if you're looking a little bit suspicious, they're going to definitely pull you aside.
We did not try to bring any weapons inside,
no.
So I don't know what that process was.
They probably check it. I feel like a real weapon, they're probably going to look at it to make sure no one decapitates someone on accident.
Right.
But most people didn't even bring real weapons. The ones that did, you knew they had metal weapons.
Yeah.
But they were dressed in full plate, and I wouldn't want to walk around like that all day.
Yeah. And then past the bag check is that little holding area, and they have a little ceremony to open the gates, and we did not see the full ceremony.
We just saw it from afar.
We saw it from afar. So they do greet the people. The queen is on top of the
I couldn't get a
gate
look at
facade that they have up. And then they fire a cannon to
I was looking for the cannon. I was like, where is it?
They fire a cannon to signal the opening of the gates, and then they open the gates. I assume that they do this on both days of the weekend when the gates open, because the gates don't open super early. I think it was 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Is when they open.
I thought that was awesome, though.
It was a fun thing, and the cannon was fun.
The cannon was loud.
I wonder how much they spend on
that. I mean, on
cannon
Tannerite.
fire. Yeah, every year. All right, and then you enter, and you'll see the
it's kind of like the opening concourse. It's the big avenue where everyone's supposed to kind of go through.
Few of the first vendor tents. They have a wishing well in the center. They have a coin press, which is real money. It's real gold, real silver press.
Real stuff, or the authentic thing.
Matt thought he was going to get a little penny stretched penny souvenir, and then he saw that the cost was $125.
Right, and that changed my mind real quick.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was like, you're going to take one of my Abraham Lincolns and turn it into a medieval coin? And it's like, surprise, this is real gold pressing coins. I was like, oh!
It's a real mint.
There was a church there.
Oh, yes.
Like real, like, practicing the old, both there was a non-denominational service and a Catholic service, which was really interesting. And like the group that does it, like, did it in Latin.
Yep. So you could
really
go
crazy.
to the small church service.
Tent. Yeah.
It's really early in the day, so if you are wanting to do that, you have to get there right at the beginning of the fair.
I thought that was interesting, especially since there's so much other, like, Wiccan and, like, witchcraft kind of connotations that everyone was comfortable with each other and doing that in that space. It's really cool.
They also have a little bar area that's sanctioned off 21 plus, obviously. And then as you walk through, if you follow the long track, then you're going to pass by all the vendors. And at the very back of the meadow is where all the food is. And that's where they also have the arena where they do night events. So they have horses. They do jousting games. I believe they do an actual joust. We did not see that. No. They do some combat.
Yeah.
Those are super packed.
That's the
events.
I mean, that's clearly the piece, the main piece. And they're free. Mm-hmm. You can go there and just get there, and you don't have to, like, pay to be there. So if you get there while there's a show going on or before a show's going on, you got a secure seat. You're having a great time.
I will say probably 75% of the fair is trying to go to that last big night event.
Yeah.
So when we got there early, we went to, like, the first night event. The stands were pretty empty. Yeah. It was very easy to get a seat. But if you're hoping to go to the night events later in the day, then I would suggest going for the event beforehand. In this case, it was a falconry event.
Right.
And watch that event and then stay there and don't give up your seat.
Don't leave.
Yeah.
I want to shout out, because you brought up the first arena, I want to shout out the section we were in. We were in Scotland.
Mm-hmm. Were we Scotland or Wales?
No, we were Scotland, honey.
Okay. I don't remember.
And
our knight also worked at the barbecue.
Yeah,
place,
he was. So. Shout out to the knight, because he was also working the barbecue pit, and I was like, this man does everything.
Yeah.
He's on a horse 1 minute doing sword fighting. He's next cutting up pork and serving it.
Yeah, he was the heel of the show,
and he was great.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Another thing. The arena it's right next to a beer garden, and in fact, half of the event half of the stadium is exclusive to the beer garden.
Yeah.
So if you are a 21 plus group, you can enter the actual garden and take your drink with you into the stands and camp out that way.
Right.
I think would be worth it if you are that person. Like, if that is applicable to you. Obviously, if you're bringing your kids, you can't do that. But they have both sides of the arena, and you can choose.
And when you're in the stand, Michaela is trying to do some justice to, like, visualize it. But when you're not in the stands and you're on the outside of the arena, it can get real tight, and it's really hard to see. If you're not in, like, the first 2 or 3 rings of people around, if you're standing up. So getting a seat is really important.
It is important. Yes, I would agree. So we, like I said, got to see one of the night shows. I do think those are probably the best entertainment that you are going to get there. I think if you are willing to pay the ticket admission price just to see the night show, I think that might be worth it for you.
Yeah.
And you just want to hang out in the arena. They also had a falconry event, like I mentioned, that we went to. We decided they had the opportunity where you could pay to hold one of their falcons, or if you paid more, you could hold one of their owls.
They had owls.
Which we decided was worth it, so we did end up doing that. But it made it so this was like the last show they did. But it made it so that we could not watch the last knighting event at all, because I believe that was the jousting event.
Yeah.
It was just fully packed.
It was packed. And another thing, what I do think is that they tell people up and down the concourse
that it's about
to happen. As opposed to the other events, I feel like they tell people, if you want to get to the knights, they're down there. Because I was hearing people being like, the knights are down this way. So I feel like people were being told. That's what was going on.
If you don't care about that at all, I will say that hour that the night event is going on is the perfect time to shop or do whatever.
The world's your oyster.
There's nobody around. It will be so easy for you to get in line for things if you're like waiting to, I don't know. This is the end of the day, so at that point,
there's like 3 hours left in the day after from the hour of the night show, and then there's like 2 hours after that, and then it's done.
I think less.
I
think it's maybe an hour.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes pretty fast.
Really
afterward.
quick. Yeah, and I mean, also when the vibe shifts very quickly.
Everybody's leaving after the night show, and they are encouraging you to leave.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
that's the closer of the fair.
Right.
I mean, they do have like
a physical closer.
Yeah, they do have like a walkout sweep. Again, if you've been to Disneyland, it's those people walking with the ropes telling you got to get out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So they will like push people out at the end of the day. They have like a final parade that you can join.
It seems like they really don't need to once the last night show is over, because I think everyone kind of feels like, well, that's nice, and then goes on their way.
You're doing your last shopping if you're interested in shopping, like your last little stops, and you're leaving.
And the stands themselves start not putting stuff away, but like definitely like
the vendors
start like looking at their inventory too. So you're getting hints, but it's also not a like, please get out, like I don't want to talk to you anymore. It's more like, okay, we all know it's that time of the day.
Yeah, another free thing you can do is the Gnome Adventure. It is designed for kids, but it's an all ages scavenger hunt. So they give you a list of clues to find the gnomes. They're all written in like rhyme scheme, and they're directing you to different places around the fair. So if you do the Gnome Adventure, it's a good way to kind of explore the different corners of the fair. And then if you take a picture of yourself with all the gnomes and bring it back to the Gnome Adventure booth, then you'll get to choose a prize.
Right.
And they're like really small trinket prizes, like nothing too crazy, but that is a fun way to explore the fair and get to talk to people. And
they set it up so that you're moving her along and finding these different spots. It's really a smart way to handle the area, because it does kind of, it snakes the way that the path for everybody, it snakes kind of like a river, and then sometimes it separates and goes into two different directions, but it always ends up back to loop back. So it's really cool to be able to explore the whole park. And we were there when it was like not that many people at first, and then by midday you're getting a lot of people, and then by the end of the day it's filled. So you're getting to see all of it and talk to people and interact with the staff and the actors.
And then in terms of some paid experiences, one of the cool things that they had were manually powered rides, carnival rides. So they had a giant swing that is powered by two men pushing it. And then they had another swing, but it was more like a Viking boat setup.
A rocket, a boat rocking back and forth.
And then I believe they also had one that was a spinning ride we decided, we being me and my friends, Matt did not go on it, to go on the swing. It was pretty fun. It was not that expensive to do.
Well.
And then you can just like leave little tips. I will say bring money for tips for everything you're doing there. Because all these people are mostly independent contractors. They're working, for the fair. They appreciate your tips.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody you meet is really, just good spirited. And those guys rocking that bench they were pushing.
They were having a great time.
Yeah.
And you can imagine in the heat, when the heat's going, I am sure it's not a very, it's a very exhausting job.
Right.
At that point, I'm sure. So, another thing that we were able to do was archery. So you could pay to get a certain amount of arrows, and you can try your hand at archery on a little range that they have.
Yeah, and they do a pretty good job.
It was fun, and it's a very popular one. Right. I think it's another one that's worth it.
It's like a real bow, real arrow, and real training.
It's wedges, live ammo, and you're shooting at a target maybe 30 feet away.
Yeah,
so not too far, but like a good enough distance.
Especially for people who probably never shot an arrow or bow and arrow before. So it was really cool. It inspired me to get back into my bow and arrow, which I haven't done in a long time.
And they have bows that aren't very, like, the draw strength for the bows is not very high, so it's fit for a lot of different types of people. Yeah, so regardless of your, like, physical ability, they will have a bow that you are able to pull. I think the lowest is like 30 pounds, I want to say.
Yeah, and I think that's, for the range that you're at, that's still, like, you don't have to pull pretty hard on that. And the guys, or the people there will help you. They'll teach you how to do it. You're not going to look like a complete goof.
Yeah, and if you miss the target, you know what? There's a lot of other people also missing the target. Also, if you get a bullseye at the range, you will get a little souvenir token, which is pretty cool.
I really wanted it. I was close to getting it. I was so close. I had 2 shots that were just off of the bullseye, and then he was like, dang it. He's like, I wanted to give you this coin. I was like, I know.
If we had bought more arrows, we just did 1 round of arrows each. I think if we had
There were some people
who
did 20 arrows, because it was by 10s. And I was like, man, if they gave me 20, I would have had that medal twice. Yeah. I was locking it in. But yeah, you did pretty good too. I filmed Michaela doing archery, and she was doing pretty good for someone just coming off the street. Well, you've done it.
I've done it before.
But yeah. Also, across the way from there is a dueling pit.
Yeah, melee arena. So and we did not do this.
We did not do this. Because I was like, if I do this, I'm going to get too into it. And then I want to be screaming out here like, Maximus, are you not entertained? When I, like, smash 4 people in.
Yeah, I was not interested in doing it. But maybe if I went back, I might do it.
Now, yeah.
Yeah. So they I believe you get to choose, like, your weapon and the shield, and then
it looks crazy.
We did not do it, so I don't know the details, but, like,
I think they shrink it down, like, you win one, or, like, the first person to lose, and then he gets to go, or, like, it's like or like, depending on the size of the amount of people who are doing it, because I saw several of them where it's like move up one, and then now it's like all of them all at the same time.
Well, that's what I was wondering. If it seemed like maybe you could choose just to duel somebody
1-on-1.
Yeah, if you were not interested in doing the large pit melee, but they also had like a circle of 7 people.
Yeah, that looked
duking
really
it out,
chaotic.
So.
I didn't. For those of my generation listening, 1v1 me and Rust, and let's see what happens, right? Like, I love the idea of fighting one guy at a time. I do not like the idea of beating 3 people, and while on my back it's turn getting hit in the back by someone else.
Yeah.
I'm watching it several times. I saw that happen. I was like, I don't like that.
So we were able to try some of the food offerings. Yeah. Okay, listen, there is this pickle guy there's a pickle cart, there's a pickle vendor.
He walks around the whole place.
They really want you to sell the pickle. They want you to get the pickles. It's a dill pickle. It smells so strong.
It smelled rough.
I don't like pickles, so I didn't try it. And I actually hated the smell really bad. Oh, it smelled awful.
Guys.
But if you're into pickles...
Oh, you're going to love that.
If you're into pickles, you'll like it.
Guys, and by the end of the day, that cart...
Awful.
Smelled
awful.
Terrible. And I'm usually not like vinegar. This vinegar by the end of the day smelled
so strong.
Smelled like it was mostly vinegar at that point in the cart because he was like trying to get the pickles out.
Yeah, he was at the last of the pickles.
And we were like kind of like he was like in front of us and moving in front of us, and it just was like
It was permeating the air.
It was warmer at that point, so it wasn't as cool, so the air wasn't as like it was not like hanging on the air. It was by far the worst smell.
That was pretty bad.
And there were porta potties everywhere, which also I have to comment on this. Their porta potties, they have a lot of porta potties everywhere, and they're mostly clean.
Yeah,
at least in the beginning. It's
early in the day, if you're there early, the porta potties will be immaculate.
Perfect.
Obviously, as more people come through, it's going to get worse.
But they take care of them.
But they're generally pretty nice.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of them.
And they'll flag if one is like gross or not. Okay. They'll tell people that. Some people will check and be like, "Don't use this one." Which is nice because sometimes you go into a porta potty and you're like, "Oh, what has happened?"
Right.
So, and they have good hand cleaning. They always have hand sanitizer everywhere. So, as long as you don't get too gross. And they also have sinks available if you need to go to a sink. But that's like if you need to.
Yeah, so of the food that we did try, my favorite was the meat pies, which seemed criminally underrated, underpatroned. That's what I was looking for.
They needed to up that game because
I don't know
their meat pies were really good. At least the ones we had, the beef and the lamb one we had was pretty good too.
Beef and mushroom.
Beef and mushroom was really good.
That was my favorite food of the day for sure. It was pretty good and criminally underrated. I don't know why people were not patronizing that food stand. I wish I had patronized it more than the one time I did, because it was better than most of the things that we got.
It was slept on for sure. Everything also, it was like the pie crust was really good too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So other things we tried, there was a barbecue place. It was okay. It was fine. Nothing to write home about. I mean, there was food for any sort of fancy. They had a poke place. They had Asian food.
Fish in like that climate.
Yeah.
If I were a braver man, maybe, but I was not going to try it.
Yeah.
It's not a statement about them. It's just experiences. Let's just say Matthew has had desert gas station sushi and it hasn't ended well.
It's a lot of fair food, like they had crepes, they had...
not ices, but ice drinks, like snow cone kind of drinks or treats. And
they had coffee.
They had funnel cake kind of things. Mm-hmm. They had hamburgers, of course. They had a gyro, a lot of lettuce, not that much gyro. Just a pointer,
Matt is a gyro connoisseur, and so he judges harshly.
I was thinking I was about to walk away with the Donair of the year, but turns out I was very sad.
The other thing I liked was this hibiscus lemonade, and I don't remember the vendor's name, but it was like they served 2 different types of lemonade, and then they served desserts as well.
Right, yeah.
And that was very good. I think about that lemonade pretty often. And they also did it so they like serve you a lemonade, and then they're like, oh, but wait, we have to add the potion or the magic. And so they have like a little show that goes along with serving your food.
I missed
which
this.
was
I wasn't
fun.
with you when you got it.
Yeah, it was fun.
You just came back and were like, this is good.
They also served frozen cheesecake, which is just a frozen cheesecake. So, if you're looking for something sweet at the end of the day, that it's an option.
Cheesecake. Sensational.
The other place that we went to was a honey stand. This was one of the vendors, and we were able to get some honey sticks because they had a variety of both infused and pollinated. Yeah, like whatever plants the bees pollinate on, the honey then tastes like that plant.
Right. Yeah, because you might have like here's a coffee honey, but then there was like, here's honey made from the nectar or pollen collected from blueberry plants or something like that. Which here in Washington, not uncommon to have that many different types of honey.
If we went back, I think that would be one of the vendors I would probably buy a full size item from. I would get a real
bottle of honey from them.
Yeah, and then I'm sure that this vendor does external sales as well.
It seems like they do other stuff. Like they're not just at this fair.
It seems like most of the vendors at the fair were not necessarily local vendors. Yeah. They seem to be vendors that travel with Renaissance fairs. So this honey vendor, I believe, was out of the Midwest.
So some would even call them camp followers.
So, yeah.
You guys went to a nice clothes store.
We went clothes shopping. I didn't buy anything, but there were really nice things.
You did dress or look at some of them, like just like the colors and stuff, and they were nice on you.
If I was in a position where I was willing to spend more money, I believe we had just paid for like, oh, you know what it is? So I don't get paid in the month of August.
Yeah.
And so I was like not willing to spend a lot of money, or I don't get paid in the month of July.
Yeah. In 2 weeks, and then boom, we're at the beginning of August.
Yeah, so it was August when we were there, but I had still yet not been paid. And so I was not feeling in a spending mood, but if I had been, they had lots of beautiful things there that I probably would have picked at least like a skirt or a dress up. One of my friends did end up buying a full outfit at the vendor we were at. For that, it cost around $250 to $300, which is not bad.
Which is actually not that bad, considering that we're in wedding mode here, prep mode here, and I just bought a suit for like $300 and something.
Well, especially
a new suit, I should say. Though,
yeah, especially for handmade things, which is what this all is. So this was probably the cheapest vendor in terms of clothes you could buy. Right. And she bought, I believe it was a corset and a skirt and maybe a shirt. I think she got a shirt too. So a full outfit for that cost.
It's pretty good.
Whereas other vendors, depending on what you're buying, like other vendors were selling corsets for $150.
Right.
So it really depends on what you're looking for, and also, the vendor themselves, how they choose to price their work.
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't there for buying clothes, but they had a lot of options for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't count, if you're looking into that, or you're kind of into that kind of stuff, or you just want to get a nice set once. Mm-hmm. And it's all made out of materials that are Renaissance Fair style, breathable. So you're not going to be unless you really, really want to get something like that, you're not going to be having like 1,000 polyester items. It's a lot of cottons, a lot of maybe wool at your highest or hottest, but you're probably going to run into a lot of cotton and linens in handmade and hand stitched. So it was really cool to see that. And like you said, it's actually not that expensive compared to if you were to get a suit from, like, let's say Men's Warehouse or a dress from a nice retail for a boutique or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're buying an expensive dress, it's probably like the same cost.
And if you're going to go to a Renaissance Fair more than once, that thing pays for itself.
Right. If you're going to use it often, it will be worth it. Also, if you're a person of size, like if you're plus size, they also had a lot of options for those people. I'm sure that depends on which vendor you're going to, but as far as I could tell, it seemed like they had every vendor that we went to had wide range of sizes.
They did for both men and women.
Yeah.
If they were doing whatever fashion they were doing it for both. And I give them a lot of credit. That's a lot better than regular stores. So if you can imagine, I was very impressed. Even if I don't like shopping all that much to begin with.
And then I think the people who will enjoy shopping the most are going to be trinket people.
Oh yeah, there's so many trinkets there.
It's pretty much all, it's clothing and trinkets and not much
I'm not a trinket.
in between.
I'm not a trinket guy.
Yeah,
I'm just not.
I'm not really. We have so much in our house already that it feels overwhelming, and so I was not interested in buying decor pieces there, but I am sure there are a lot of people who will get good, things from there. Yeah. I was on the hunt for something that, like, a leather-bound journal. I did find something eventually. I decided not to get it, but I've seen those around. I didn't see anybody, like, dedicated to that at this fair, but I'm sure.
There you go, guys. There's a gap if you can get in there.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else was great was we got that cream soda.
Oh, the kid sold us. Okay. Yeah, Michaela is right. There we got. I feel like a dummy though.
No, because it was good.
I feel like dumb for throwing the bottle away.
Yeah, you shouldn't have thrown the bottle away.
I'm stupid. Mad. I made a mistake. What happened was when we were walking down the concourse, there was a kid walking around handing out samples, and it was like a little kid.
She was like probably 3
or 4. Yeah. And she
probably
I would say 4 or
5.
Yeah, actually. I was thinking she was like Evelyn's age in my head. So, and I mean, she's walking around this concourse with little samples, and lo and behold, she's handing out sarsaparilla and cream soda and root beer. And so Michaela and I try some, and it's really good. I mean, 10 out of 10. Turns out it's just cream soda, and we're not even cream soda fans.
No, it was the best cream soda I've ever had.
It was really good.
It was really good. And Matt drank most of it.
I did.
Actually, I think you drank all of it. And then he, instead of keeping the bottle, which you could refill,
I did not know.
For refills
until later.
Like $3 refills on it, he throws the bottle away.
Yeah.
Instead. And I didn't get any cream soda.
I was very greedy.
And that was very rude.
I'm sorry.
I had some cream soda.
I did apologize in time, like at the time, because I was just like, oh yeah, just tossed it, and I should have kept it and refilled it and then given it to Michaela. I learned my mistake. Mm-hmm. It was really good cream soda.
Good enough cream soda for me to get mad about you throwing the bottle away.
If Michaela's saying it's good cream soda, it was because she does not like cream soda at all.
I don't.
She hates it. So, but yeah, I made a mistake and I apologized.
It's fine.
In time for it.
But I'm going to give you some... Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the Renaissance as we experienced it. Right. Do you have anything else? There were some famous, TikTok famous entertainers. There was that one guy who does the whips. I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
I'm trying to look for his name.
I don't mess with that, bro.
It's Jacques the Whipper.
Yeah, nah, that was a no for me.
Viscerally not something for Matt. They also had like comedy shows.
There were a lot of comedy shows.
They had a lot of
comedy shows.
Musical entertainment.
I feel like if you're an improv guy, you're gonna kill at Renaissance fairs. Like, I feel like improv guys really would dominate this space. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of bad because I'm not a huge fan of improv comedy all the time. So it's kind of like,
They have a puppet show or a puppet stage, so you can watch many puppet shows. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. We had a good time. So I guess, Matt, I will ask you what your favorite and least favorite parts of the fair were, and then if you think it's worth going to, will you go again? So let's start with your least favorite part of the fair.
Yeah.
What would you rank as something you would not miss if it wasn't there, or something that was genuinely like bad?
There was nothing there that was infuriating.
Yeah.
Which is really good. That's really impressive for me, because I'm usually like the guy who is like...
Matt's a hater.
I'm a hater. I'm a grade A hater. It's in the blood. I can't get rid of it even if I try. So I'm just saying it out loud. The first step is acceptance. Yeah, there was nothing that I really hated explicitly. I do wish that there was more heads up about what was cash and what was not cash. Because not every vendor was cash. A lot of vendors work hard, but you didn't know until you walked up to them, and that's why I was like, please have money. They probably should have either, like, I know it's like probably a logistical nightmare to do, but like at least like a site guide of like who takes cash and who take card, just to help the people out.
I don't know if
but that's not necessary.
Yeah.
The thing that would I will say, the thing that made me the most, besides that, the thing that made me, because that's not really a thing that I would expect them to do, the thing that I noticed was that if you are, I wouldn't even say this per se, but if you do have like mobility issues or anything, it is a lot of walking, and that's just the nature of the beast, because it is a long concourse. So just plan that out. There is accessibility help. Like, they do have people who will help you, but just keep that in mind, because I, towards the end, was starting to get some cramps in some spots, and I was like, ooh, am I going to be able to make it back to the car in time?
I mean, it is accessible venue, but it's not an easily, like...
It's mostly flat. Except the food area. The food area can get a little perilous.
It's still in a meadow, so you're still going to be off-roading. If you're in a wheelchair, it's going to be off-roading, which I assume would be difficult.
Right. You might want to have some help.
If you have mobility aids, it's a large venue, and so it might be exhausting.
And there are seats along the way, though, so I'm not going to mark them completely down for like not accessibility, because they have points. But like, I was thinking about mostly like the food area where most people are going to go eventually. They could do a little bit better, because there's like there was a little bit of like a dip for anyone who wouldn't be able to get it. And like I said, I was walking a lot, and sometimes I get a really bad cramp from playing sports, and it hit me, and then I noticed it, like just how much walking I was doing at that point. So that's the thing I don't like, and that's something that can be easily solved, and they also accommodate for. So I'm not going to completely write them off for that.
I'll also say I don't think they had any accessible bathrooms.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to help whoever you're bringing, or you're going to have someone who will help you get into the restroom. Thing I like the most.
Wait, I'm going.
Oh, you're going to go. Go ahead. Sorry. What is the thing you like least?
And I will say, for your earlier point about cash versus card, they do have ATMs on site, so you can get cash if needed. My least favorite thing was the pickle smell. And also,
my man is just trying to live, and you're like, God, I hate that pickle.
It was bad.
It was a strong smell.
And then second, I think that I think the food vendors are hit and miss. Like I said, I think there were some really good ones, like that lemonade and the meat pie. Every food vendor is expensive.
Yes. There is no cheapy answer to to the food problem there.
And we got a variety of things. And I will say, like, the barbecue was not worth the price, in my opinion. Sorry to our night. I'm so sorry, my guy.
I got a huge slice of brisket, though.
Okay, I got ribs.
See,
and I didn't
if you're going to get ribs,
good.
don't get ribs. Or if you're going to go get barbecue, don't get barbecue like ribs. Get the brisket, because they give you like a a prime rib slice worth of brisket, which was like crazy to me. To me, I was expecting that for the ribs because it's easier to like parse out ribs in a bigger portion because it's mostly bone. But they gave me like a huge slab of brisket. Was like eating a whole steak. It was crazy.
And then the gyro was just okay. So like I think for
it's hit or miss.
It's hit and miss. So I don't know if it's your first time. Maybe you're just gonna have to play it by what sounds
Get a
the
hot
best.
dog.
Yeah.
HOTDOGS.
Or you could look up reviews. I'm sure there's plenty of like this is what I ate at the Ren Fair, ratings of I got served.
Was there a corn dog? There were corn dogs too, right?
I don't remember.
We just didn't get one.
Before going to the event, was served many a video of people trying different foods at the Ren Fair and rating them, so I'm sure you could find lots of them. Yeah, okay. So that was I think the food was the worst part. But it's, again, like you said, there was nothing that was, like, really bad.
Right.
There was nothing where I was like, I didn't leave the event going, that was okay. It wasn't really worth it, XYZ.
Right. And
on a smaller scale, I had some things where I was like, it was not worth paying the $18 for that. But
yeah, and in my mind too, with the food, in regards to the food, I don't actually anticipate fair food to be good usually. And in this case, there was like at least one stand that exceeded my expectations, and it was the meat pie stand. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we were like, oh, well, wish we could go back and we had just gone to the meat pie stand instead, which it was always empty. I don't understand how that happened, but whatever. I recommend that if you're gonna get anything there, just get some good beef and mushroom or lamb and peas.
Mm-hmm. So what is your favorite part of the Ren Fair?
Favorite part? I would have said archery, but seeing you pick up a bird.
Oh, yeah, the falcon.
The falcon, that was worth it because you were so happy.
He was cute. Favorite part for me, yeah, I think is the archery. I think that was fun. I did like the night show as well.
The night show was good.
I do think that's worth it.
It was a solid display of horsemanship, because there's real horses, and a lot of them are recovery rescue horses. So
yeah,
this is their second lease of life, and I think that was really cool to see, even when things happen that you don't anticipate.
I think that if I were to go next year, my game plan would be to primarily go to the entertainment stages. And spend most of the day at the entertainment stages, whether that's like the night one or around.
It is nice that the stadium itself has the half bar, half section, because if you just want to hang out and like, sip for like the last or the second half of the day and just sit and sip, you can do so. The only problem is that you have to get food and then bring the food in and then go into the bar section.
Yeah.
That's not that big of an issue.
No, and yeah, I think we were with people who were interested in shopping more than anything, which is fine because I also wanted to see what was around and what vendors were. But I think if I were to go the second time, like if we had a 2-day pass,
right,
for example, the second day would only be the shows for me.
Yeah.
And then let's 8 out of 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you rating your experience?
I'm gonna give it just based because I've been to Renaissance Fair before, and my experience at this one was a lot more interactive and better thought out, and maybe it's just because I'm an adult. I'm gonna give it like a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, mine was 8 out of 10 too.
Yeah.
But definitely something I'd be interested in going back to.
Yeah, it's not. It's the only thing that I would think of that I would keep me away is that I don't really care for like the acts, like some of the acts, but like that's not their fault. That's just the way that these kinds of things are. So it's like, okay, I'll just sit and drink, or I'll sit and eat something while the show's going on. I'm not going to be like, I don't want to watch this. You're there. You might as well just chill.
What could they do to make it a 10 out of 10 experience for you?
Oh, that's a great...
I think for me, it's partially my own. I could choose to do more shows. I think that would help. Yeah. I think if the bar drinks were a little stronger, that would help because they were expensive. And
yeah, I was gonna say, I was literally thinking like the bar situation. I feel like the bar drinks, the mixed drinks, were not as potent as how much you were paying for.
Yeah. And then last thing for me would be to have more of the artisanal vendors where it's not just stuff like the honey vendor. I want to see more things of that nature, and right. I don't exactly know what that would be. I'm not looking
like there were a lot of weapons sales, or like weapons as in like swords and stuff like that, and shields and stuff. But there was a lot of that, and there was a lot of like clothes. But I'm like, hey, if you can give me something that I can use at my house, that like the honey, we eat honey. And I would love to have honey more regularly. If you can find, hook it up. Or you can have like a vendor. If it were closer to, I hate to say it like this, if it were closer to a farmer's market than it was.
I mean, it's not going to be, but
yeah. I know. And I know that. Going in. But if it was like, there are a lot, in Washington, especially in that area in Snohomish County, there are a lot of vendors who could fill a farm or fill a Renaissance fair with like home goods that they sell at farmers markets. I'm not saying they're going to be selling like eggs and cabbages, but you know what I mean? Like there are, I think about here where we live, like there's a pretzel shop, and I know that pretzel shop would kill at the Renaissance fair.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a matter of like not fitting the theme as well. Yeah. But I just think more like not retail clothing.
Yeah, not just clothes. Vendors. Yeah, I agree. Because there were a lot more of those than there were anything else. And there were a lot of like people selling that kind of stuff. Even in their smaller shops, it was like hats and like I said, I get it. And then my third one, my thing that went, there were a lot of food options. A cheap shack, like something that's not super expensive, but not super like cheap, but like a cheaper than what there were. Because like sometimes you're getting like hamburgers for like $10 that were just normal hamburgers.
More than that.
Or $12 or $15 that were just like, no, it was 15. The one I saw, it was like 15 for a normal like Burger King hamburger.
Yeah. So anyway,
but that's something that oh, sorry.
No, I think. Did you have more to say?
No, I was gonna say that's just something that's just inherent to all kinds of fairs and stuff. So it's not anything that 8 out of 10 is a passing score.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 is a very good score.
Yeah. So I recommend it.
Part of that again is like user experience of first time doing it. So I had a great time. I would recommend people go. I would definitely go again if I had friends who were interested. Like I know we have a friend who has said he's interested in going. Yeah. I definitely would go with more friends, and I think it would be a good time.
Also, warning to the word to the wise: don't wear a sword on your hip the whole time. Well, the next time we probably put something out will be a married couple. So, and we'll have more time because recently we've not had much of it. So,
send requests in.
Yes. And don't forget to like and comment on our Spotify.
Subscribe.
We
share.
really, really would appreciate it. And yeah, please share it with your friends. We are hoping to do more stuff like this where it's like we actually go to places and put them on the episode. Sometimes they may be recorded, sometimes they may be live, like we posted onto our YouTube channel. But this is just one part. We're just catching up with something that we did do this month. And we're hoping to do more stuff like this along with our topics that we usually, our weird history and topics of interest. But I can't wait to do more, and we'll be back soon with more stuff.
Yeah, so send us any requests you have to whatthewashington, is that the email? Okay, send any requests you may have, or comments, or hate mail to whatthewashington@gmail.com, and we will be back fairly soon. I don't remember how I end these. Do I just end them with that? Is that what I do?
And we'll be back. Yeah, we'll be
back. I say
back.
bye.
Bye, y'all.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Bye.